Severin said, like in Austria in 2001, government recognized that creative industries have potential to create value, added value, and they are interesting now for the economic sector. And why is that? So, why? Because of the paradigm shift. Paradigm shift to the knowledge-based economy. And the main determinant of this economy is that the intellectual capital, innovativeness and creativity of individuals, companies, nations represent a key resource for value creation, growth, wealth, and everything. So, what is also main characteristics of this new paradigm? Unlike the Cartesian, deterministic, binary and linear understanding of the world based on the principles of Newton physics, which dominated the Western way of understanding till the end of the 20th century, contemporary understanding of the world is based on a dynamic, interactive, network and holistic understanding of human behavior, which corresponds to insights of quantum physics, complexity theory, and behavior and living organism science. And this change of the basic picture of reality requires a long-term change in relation to priorities and values. So modern society can be described as a society as a society based on deep and broad penetration of scientific and technological knowledge in all spheres of social life and its institutions. The relationship between science and production has become direct, immediate, because the scientific advances in machinery allowed production with less labor. Machines can become much smarter, and then, as such, they required less human intervention and physical labor. And in the time, the need for physical labor continuously declined, and the implementation of labor force moved from direct production to the processes of preparing and organizing production. And therefore, a large part of today's knowledge that is directly used in the production is not embodied in machinery. It is on the metal level, and the effects of this are immense in economic context. The most useful way of thinking about knowledge-based economy implies recognition of the fact that today's economy is characterized by simultaneous existence of several specific trends that leads to structural changes of the economic system. And the most important ones are the growing importance of intangible assets and intellectual capital as a force of production, or in other words, the intensive use of knowledge for producing economic benefits results in the growth of inputs of knowledge in the physical products and in the growth of output in the form of products of pure knowledge, like software. The development of information society also paved the way for development of a society and economy based on knowledge, with potential for codification, processing, storing and transmitting data, knowledge and information that is in the history unprecedented. This concept has increased the capacity of human intelligence and has become a resource which transforms our ways of working and thinking and interaction. And UN, like 10 years ago, concluded that the combination of human intelligence and information technologies replaced accumulation of physical capital as leading factor of reproduction. Also, the third trend, continuous innovation and application of innovation, technological or organizational ones, became a key element in developing the competitive advantages of companies and countries. Also, one more fact specifically resulting from the growing importance of intangible assets is the change in the perception considering the notion of value term itself. This concept provides a broader perspective of this term. Value can represent tangible or intangible goods or services, knowledge or benefit that is either desirable or useful for the recipient, for which he is ready to pay a fair price or provide suitable replacement. Each of these three types of values operate as a separate and independent currency. So we can directly replace knowledge for knowledge, we can replace the knowledge for tangible goods, services or money, or we can replace knowledge for some intangible value or assets such as customer loyalty. And of course, the last important fact and trend is that the role of knowledge in today's society is transformed in the way that knowledge gets all clear characteristics as any other goods. The attitude of producers and users of knowledge which they sell or use is like the relationship that exists between manufacturers and consumers towards material goods that are produced or consumed. It's exactly the same. Today's society and economy is characterized by the fact that the knowledge gained the role of the leading factor of production, source of value creation and economic growth, replacing the later superior factor of production, natural resources, physical labor and capital. And that is something from which economic analysis in these days is starting with. Consequently, the rising expectation from design that as creative discipline contributes to social and economic well-being, both increase pressure to design profession to continuously innovate. To be able to do that, the designers have to understand the changing pattern of innovation, to cope with constant technological challenges, to continuously develop their skills, and to possess the ability to understand technological opportunities and act upon it. But exploring possibilities of new technologies also brought challenges of underestimating the importance of the core skills and knowledge required to be a great designer, once related to true craftsmanship. And in other words, instead of how to know to do sketches and make 3D presentations, designers have to know how to do projects in a comprehensive way. Of course, design should promote involvement, inclusion and coherence for all human beings, and it should also focus on interactive, more human use in the public sector, in the sense of reduction or elimination of barriers between the individual citizens and public services or spaces. And in order to succeed in this, designers must essentially understand the existential, cultural, and social needs of their environment. The fifth conclusion is related to environmental and sustainable development challenges. The one negative but unfortunately main characteristics of our time is the massive environmental pollution that threatens to jeopardize the health of all living species and the health of our planet. And since the lifetime of most products is shortened to one average of 2 years, and I think like in this year it is going to be 1 year, a huge amount of discarded old products represent a growing problem for the ecosystem of our planet. The responsibility of design in this context is extremely great, since designers are in a position to control or partially control the selection of materials and methods of products creation and their production. And sixth conclusion is related to the contemporary perception of the economic value of design. Of course, economy is expecting, I think, the most of design, and design is expected to build the capacity to innovate and deliver world-class brands, products and services, to strengthen the competitive position of national economies, and to improve the understanding of firms regarding design methods and their utilization. Also, there are challenges concerning the use of design as a strategic tool for innovation, and challenges regarding articulation of the value of design and its importance to social and economic success. And as you can see, from design is expected a lot, and the responsibility is big. Questioning the traditional design education based on the apprentice-master model, which is regarding overall trend in higher education not anymore sustainable financially. And regarding the globalization challenges, the first consequences is that universities started to compete with each other, offering the international dimension of their research and educational framework. But there are too many unsolved issues coming with this globalization, such as cultural differences. The issue of the need for intensive collaboration between designers and industries, both companies and design communities and design education institutions are expressing the need for intensive collaboration, work practice, and user-centered approach. Translating this to design education context means that design education should introduce effective methods of integration with purpose to adequately prepare students for a world in which collaboration, negotiation, and compromise are valuable skills. In this context, social learning should be extrapolated as a social activity complementary to interdisciplinary teamwork in design project and research. And regarding the challenges for design research, intensive pressure on design discipline, which is the young discipline, to become more scientifically based carries the risk for discipline to become confused in search for new or improved identity. Literature review shows that there is no consensus on the definition and scope of design research. Should design research follow the model of traditional academic disciplines, or should it seek a new model based on the intimate connection among theory, practice, and production, which is the hallmark of design? In regard to the contemporary purpose of design practice and education, it seems that the design community is reviewing the purpose of contemporary design. This study offers one insight into the genesis of thinking about this issue that allow us to reflect on all the contradictions which are nowadays continuing to arise in the same or different form in relation to this very important topic. Contemporary approaches to the purpose and role of design are very diverse and complex as are reflections resulting from them. What remains the same as in the period when design originated as one independent discipline is the fact that contemporary consideration of the purpose of design are also focused on the relationship between art and industry, culture and production, and the many resulting contradictions from these questions. And there is also the eternally controversial question if design has the same purpose as pure art. The answer to this question, or the view one takes on it, determines the social expectations placed on this discipline. And it is the very important question. Generally observed, one of the first things that can be noticed in relation to the direction in which the design education institutions are currently going is that actually, despite the existing curricula, there is no completely clear course or at least consensus about how and what to teach future designers. The global design community, especially the academic one, leads to an intense debate about whether higher education institutions in the field of design should remain independent and stay outside of the universities and in that way retain their autonomy concerning creation of design curriculum, or they should be integrated into university complex where they will have greater resources but less autonomy. Also, design academic community debates about the essential purpose of design education, as well as the very purpose of design as discipline, and they debate about philosophy and values on which the content of design curriculum should be based, and the ways of knowledge transfer to the students. Also, there is intensive debate about what combination of three design discipline archetypal elements, art, science, and technology, should be applied in structuring the content of design curriculum and how those curricula should be defined. In addition, there are doubts regarding general versus specialist education and conceptual versus realistic approach to design as discipline. All these pressing issues suggest that this discipline is undergoing intense reviewing of the very purpose of design, as well as the purpose of the structure and the content of design curriculum. And the general impression is that the education institutions embarked on the race with the changes which are not possible to follow, but only through knowledge. And all disciplines are, not just design. And despite the general impression of disorientation of design discipline, it is possible to observe the trend towards the integration of educational content and toward a holistic and multidisciplinary approach to design education. But because of the speed of changes and limitations regarding financial resources and length of bureaucratic procedures, additional skills and competencies are not included fast enough into formal design education. Massification, diversification, internationalization, and academic capitalism make it increasingly hard for higher educational design institutions to not succumb to the quantity at the expense of the quality of design education.